Good morning, dear friend. The first light has begun to rise quietly, almost reverently stretching soft gold across the edges of a waking sky. The world is still hushed, the streets are calm, and even the trees seem to pause before rustling. In this sacred moment, before emails buzz or phones ring, before the demands of your world step into full view, you have arrived here, just you and the whisper of a day that has not yet unfolded. There is something holy about this hour, not because it is loud or triumphant, but because it is honest, it is real, and you are here, not by accident, but by invitation. Some of you have come to this moment carrying more than most can see. Perhaps you have barely slept. Maybe your chest has felt heavy for days. You may be sitting in the silence of an empty room after loss, or bracing for another day that feels too much. Perhaps your prayers have been quiet lately, not because you have nothing to say, but because pain has a way of stealing words. Maybe fear has sat too long in the corners of your mind, whispering lies in the voice of your own doubt. Or maybe you are simply tired of trying to keep it together, tired of not knowing what comes next. But here is what I want to remind you of. You are not alone. The God who breathed life into you has not forgotten you. He has not turned away from your questions. In fact, He has been waiting for you here in this quiet hour long before you opened your eyes. And right now, in this space between yesterday's wait and today's unknown, something beautiful can begin. Prayer is not a performance. It is not reserved for the perfect or the polished. It is not made powerful by volume or eloquence. True prayer is presence. It is surrender. It is the courageous act of saying, God, here I am, still breathing, still hoping, still in need of you. And when we choose to begin our day with that kind of honesty, something shifts, not always around us, but within us. Peace becomes possible, not because every problem has vanished, but because we have chosen to stop carrying it alone. Wisdom rises not from our own intellect, but from a heart aligned with heaven. Direction becomes clearer not because the road is suddenly easy, but because we have placed our trust in the one who already sees the end from the beginning. So today, you are invited not to fix everything, but to open your heart. You are invited to pause before the pressure, to receive before you react, and to listen before the noise arrives. You are invited into a conversation with the Creator of time, the one who governs storms and counts every tear. Let your guard down. Let your soul breathe again. You do not need to be strong to begin. You simply need to be willing. Let us begin this day not by running, but by returning, not by controlling, but by surrendering, not with fear, but with faith. Come, dear friend, it is time to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I come before you at the very beginning of this day, not with polished words or hidden strength, but with a heart that knows it needs you. Before the noise rises, before responsibilities speak, before my thoughts scatter in many directions, I choose to turn toward you. This moment belongs to you alone. I pause here, breathing in the quiet, acknowledging that this day did not begin with my effort, but with your mercy. I place myself before you just as I am, without pretense, without defense, and without rushing ahead of your presence. Father, I surrender this day into your hands. I release my need to control what has not yet happened. I let go of the pressure to anticipate every outcome or solve every challenge before it appears. I admit that I do not see the full picture, but you do. You already stand in the hours ahead of me, aware of every conversation, every decision, and every unseen moment. I choose to trust that your wisdom goes before my steps, and your faithfulness surrounds me even now. I ask you to steady my heart as this day begins. Quiet every anxious thought that tries to take hold before I even rise. Settle the tension that has lived too close to my spirit. Where fear has whispered during the night, replace it with truth. Where weariness lingers, breathe fresh strength into my soul. I do not want to carry yesterday into today. Release the weight of what I cannot change and receive the grace that meets me in this moment. Father, I place my mind under your guidance. Align my thoughts with what is pure, steady, and true. Guard me from rushing ahead of your direction or reacting out of habit rather than wisdom. I ask that clarity would rise gently within me. Not forced, not strained, but calm and sure. Let my focus be shaped by your presence rather than by urgency or distraction. Teach me to move at the pace of trust, not pressure. I surrender my will to you at the start of this day. I do not want my plans to lead without your counsel. I invite you to direct my intentions, my priorities, and my responses. Where I am tempted to rely on my own understanding, remind me to pause and listen. Where I am tempted to harden my heart, soften me with humility. I choose obedience over impulse and trust over fear. Father, I place my words before you now. Before I speak to anyone else, I ask that my mouth would reflect the peace you are forming within me. Keep me from careless speech and unnecessary reactions. Let my words carry gentleness, clarity, and restraint. I want my voice to be shaped by faith, not frustration, and by wisdom, not emotion. Teach me to listen well and speak with intention throughout this day. As this morning unfolds, I ask you to walk with me through every ordinary moment. Be present in the quiet tasks and unseen efforts. Let this day be anchored in surrender rather than striving. I trust that as I begin with you, you will remain with me, guiding my steps, steadying my heart, and holding me secure as the light continues to rise. Father, as this morning stretches quietly before me, I remain in the stillness that has already begun to soften my spirit. The peace I found in the moments before is not something I wish to leave behind. I want it to go with me into every hour, into every decision, into every breath. And so I bring something to you that I rarely surrender easily my time. This day, with all of its hours and its moving pieces, belongs to you. I place it in your hands not because I am certain what will come, because I trust that you already know. Lord, you are the creator of time itself. You do not rush. You do not panic. And you are never late. You do not measure my value by how quickly I move or how much I check off a list. And yet, I confess that I often do. I often wake up already behind, already overwhelmed, already bracing for what must be done. I let the clock become my master and the schedule become my worth. But today, I choose something different. I choose to let you govern my hours, to lead my rhythm, to pace my steps. Teach me not to run ahead of you, even when I feel pressure pulling me forward. Show me how to move with purpose but not with panic. Help me to discern what truly matters and what can wait. Let my priorities be shaped by wisdom, not anxiety. Let me pause where others might push, listen where others might speak, and breathe deeply where others might strain. Let me trust that what you call me to today is enough, and what you withhold is not a punishment, but protection. God, I surrender the moments I cannot control, the unexpected delays, the interruptions, the changed plans. I know they will come, but I do not want them to control my emotions. Let me greet interruptions not with frustration, but with grace. Let me see them not as threats to my progress, but as invitations to trust. Remind me that a slow day is not a wasted day, and that small steps in obedience are more pleasing to you than large strides in self-effort. I also surrender the pace of others. Guard me from comparison, from the urge to match someone else's speed or style. Keep me from racing after someone else's calling, someone else's path, someone else's pace. Let me walk the lane you have carved for me, steady and content in the timing you have designed. Even if others seem to be moving faster or further, I will rest in knowing that your timeline for me is not broken. You do not measure growth by visibility. You do not measure worth by performance. You look at the heart, and I want mine to remain open, aligned, and surrendered. Father, help me to be fully present in each hour. When I am with someone I love, help me to truly be with them, not distracted by the next thing. When I am working, help me to work with focus, not pulled apart by multitasking or trying to prove something. When I am alone, help me to enjoy the quiet, not fill it out of discomfort or fear. Show me how to honor you with the way I carry time, not just with my schedule, but with my spirit. Make my day a reflection of trust, not just efficiency. And in those moments when I feel like I am falling behind or running out of time, remind me that you are not bound by the clock, that your purposes are not limited to deadlines, that what is meant for me will not pass me by if I remain in you. Let me live today with the peaceful awareness that I am not late, not behind, not too slow, not too much. I am simply yours, walking in step with the one who sees the full picture, while I only see this moment. So I give this day to you, not in pieces, but in full. The early hours and the late ones, the easy tasks and the hard ones, the planned events and the unexpected ones. I release my grip on the minutes and hold tightly to your hand instead. And as I move through this day, I ask that you keep me aware of the sacredness in each passing hour, knowing that time in your hands is never wasted, never lost, and never empty. Father, as I continue walking with you into this new day, I feel the need to slow even more deeply within your presence. Having placed my time in your hands, I now bring you what lies beneath the surface of my life. I do not want to move forward carrying what was never meant to travel with me. I open my inner world to you, knowing that you already see every corner of my heart. Nothing is hidden from you, and nothing I bring surprises you. Lord, I acknowledge that my heart does not always begin the day clean and light. There are thoughts that linger, regrets that echo quietly, and emotions that settle without my permission. I confess that I sometimes carry resentment longer than I should, replay conversations that wounded me, and rehearse failures I wish I could undo. These things weigh on my spirit, even when I try to ignore them. Today, I choose honesty before you. I bring these hidden weights into the light of your mercy. God, I ask you to wash my heart gently but completely. Remove what has grown heavy inside me. Cleanse me from attitudes that harden my spirit and reactions that pull me away from peace, where bitterness has taken root. Uproot it, where disappointment has shaped my expectations. Soften them, where shame has quietly followed me. Loosen its grip. I do not want to carry a burden that you are willing to lift. I receive your forgiveness not as an idea, but as a reality that reaches into my inner life. I release those who have hurt me, even when the wound still feels tender. I let go of the desire to be repaid or understood in return. I surrender the right to hold on to offense, knowing that it binds my heart more than it protects me. I choose freedom over justification and healing over holding on. I ask you to replace what I release with compassion, clarity, and strength. Teach me how to forgive not through force, but through trust in your justice and care. Father, I also release myself from self-accusation. I am tired of replaying my mistakes as if they define who I am. I bring you my failures, my missteps, and the moments I wish I could change. I ask you to separate my identity from my errors. Help me to see myself through your eyes, not through the lens of past disappointment. Let your grace interrupt every harsh inner voice that tells me I am not enough or too broken to move forward. As this day begins, I ask you to reset my heart completely. Align my desires with what is right and life-giving. Restore sensitivity where I have grown numb and humility, where pride has quietly settled. I want to respond from a place of peace, not from unresolved pain. Shape my reactions so they flow from wholeness rather than hurt. Let my inner world reflect the restoration you are working within me. God, create in me a steady spirit that is not easily shaken by memory or circumstance. Let clarity rise where confusion once lived. Let joy return where heaviness has lingered. Let hope grow quietly, rooted not in optimism, but in trust that you are actively renewing me. I welcome the work you are doing beneath the surface, even when it is unseen by others. I step forward into this day with a lighter heart, aware that I do not walk alone and that I do not walk unchanged. The weight I carried has been placed in your care. The wounds I brought are held by your healing, and as I continue onward, I choose to remain open, receptive, and willing, trusting that each step taken in surrender allows your renewal to continue shaping me. Father, as I continue in this quiet space with you, I feel you leading me even deeper, not just into the thoughts I carry or the time I surrender, but into the words I will speak today. What flows from my lips often reveals what is still rooted in my heart. And now that you have begun softening my inner world, I know it is time to bring my mouth under your covering. I do not want my words to drift through the day uncontrolled. I want them to be shaped by peace, guided by wisdom, and anchored in truth. God, I confess how quickly my words can slip away from the intentions of my spirit, how easily I speak before pausing, how often I react instead of respond. In conversations, in traffic, in quiet complaints spoken under my breath, I see how much room there is for surrender in my speech. Not just the big moments, not just the loud disagreements, but the little comments, the side remarks, the humor that stings, the silence that judges. You see it all. And so I ask you to help me put a guard over my lips, not out of fear, but out of love. Teach me, Lord, how to hold my tongue when silence speaks more clearly than words. Show me how to pause when my thoughts are sharp and my emotions are loud. Give me strength to let a moment pass without adding more noise to it. Let me remember that not every thought is worthy of being said aloud, and not every feeling needs to become a sentence. Help me discern which words build and which ones bruise, which ones bring peace and which ones stir confusion. Father, I also bring to you the words I speak about myself, the inner monologue that plays quietly but constantly, the criticism I have grown used to, the names I call myself when no one is listening. I bring that voice to you now, and I ask you to rewire it, to break the pattern, to silence the lies. Let my internal speech align with what you say about me, not what fear has whispered or shame has planted. I want to speak life over my own soul, not sarcasm disguised as humility or defeat disguised as honesty. Guide me when I am with others. Let me speak truthfully, but with gentleness. Help me to communicate with clarity, not just to be heard, but to bring peace. Show me how to be a safe place for conversation, not someone who dominates, interrupts, or corrects without compassion. And if I need to confront, help me to do so without cutting. If I need to correct, help me to do it without crushing. Let my words carry conviction without cruelty. Let them reflect the steady grace you are forming inside me. I also surrender my need to explain everything. Sometimes I feel pressure to defend myself, to fill silence, to justify or fix every misunderstanding. But I know there is wisdom in restraint. I do not need to convince the world of who I am or what I meant. I only need to walk in truth and let you defend what matters. Help me not to speak out of fear. Help me not to argue out of insecurity. Let my peace be louder than my opinions. Let my restraint speak of strength, not weakness. Father, when the day grows noisy and emotions rise when someone speaks sharply or tension stirs, help me not to match it. Teach me to recognize when silence is strength, when kindness is power, when a soft answer turns away wrath. Let me carry spiritual authority in my speech, not by volume but by depth. Let my words carry your tone, even in difficult moments. Let me pause, breathe, and listen for your voice before I add my own. And when I fail, when I say something I regret, when I let frustration slip out or pride take over, remind me to return quickly, to apologize where needed, to make things right without excuse. Let repentance be as much a part of my speech as restraint. Keep my heart soft enough to admit when I have spoken wrongly, and humble enough to seek healing through my words. Lord, may my speech today reflect what you are doing within me. Let my mouth not lead my heart, but follow it. Let what I say reveal what you have planted. I do not want to simply speak kindly. I want kindness to be what flows naturally. I do not want to just avoid damage. I want to be a voice of healing. Shape my words as you shape my soul, so that as I speak, others may feel seen, heard, and respected, not because I am wise, but because you are near. Father, after asking you to shape my words, I feel you drawing me even deeper into how I live when no one is watching. Not just in how I speak, but in how I carry the quiet hours, the mundane moments, the unnoticed routines that fill so much of my day. I bring you these ordinary spaces, now the parts of my life that rarely get attention, but take up so much of my strength. The dishes, the work calls, the emails, the errands, the back and forth, the repeating patterns. I lay it all before you, not as insignificant, but as holy in your eyes. Lord, you do not only meet me in crisis or celebration. You meet me in repetition. You meet me in dishes and laundry and commutes, in these small and steady responsibilities. You are still near. And yet, I confess how often I drift through them numb or restless, wondering if they matter or if I am missing something greater. But today I ask for your presence to fill even the smallest duties. Let me not rush past them. Let me not resent them. Let me see the sacred woven into the simple. God, give me strength not just for what is dramatic, but for what is daily. Give me a heart that does not require applause to remain faithful. Let me show up fully even in the tasks no one thanks me for. Give me the grace to be consistent, not out of pressure, but from quiet devotion. Remind me that you see what others do not, that the hidden parts of my day are not hidden from you, that nothing done in love is ever wasted in your kingdom. Teach me to find joy in small victories, to honor the moments that seem uneventful, to recognize growth not just in milestones, but in steady obedience. Help me to carry responsibility without bitterness, to serve without resentment, to contribute without seeking credit. Shape in me a heart that works not for recognition, but from purpose. I want to be faithful in the middle, not only at the start or finish. Father, when I grow weary doing what seems repetitive, breathe new life into my efforts. When my body tires before the day is over, strengthen me from within. When my mind drifts into frustration, remind me who I am ultimately working for. Let each task become an offering. Let each duty become a prayer, even when what I am doing feels too small to mention. Let it carry eternal weight when surrendered to you. Help me resist the temptation to escape into distractions when the day feels long and uninspiring. Guard me from reaching for things that dull my spirit instead of restoring it. Teach me to rest in ways that truly refill me, not to escape responsibility, but to remain whole in the midst of it. Let me learn to pause without quitting, to breathe without withdrawing, to find rhythm in you even when the pace feels relentless. God, Help me see people through fresh eyes in the middle of my routines, whether I am working from home, among coworkers, or caring for family. Let me notice the souls around me. Let me be present with them, not just efficient beside them. Help me to value connection, even when time feels short. Let patience rise when the moment feels rushed. Let kindness surface when I am tempted to be short or silent. Let my ordinary day be interrupted by sacred moments of grace. And in the things I do repeatedly, meals, work, cleaning, caregiving, remind me that repetition is not the enemy of transformation, that you shape hearts through habits, that you sanctify patterns when they are offered with intention. Let me grow roots in this steady ground. Let me become someone whose quiet life bears quiet fruit, even if no one else ever sees the seed. Lord, in a world obsessed with bigger, newer, louder, I choose to anchor myself in the slow, the faithful, the honest. I do not want to despise small things. I do not want to chase constant change. I want to dig deep where you have planted me, even if this season feels still, even if this day looks like the one before. I trust that you are working beneath the surface. I trust that ordinary does not mean empty when you are near. So I step into this day aware of how easily I overlook what matters. I step in with a heart that longs to be steady, not flashy, not famous, just steady. Let my strength not be loud, but lasting. Let it carry through each hour as I lift my hands, wipe a counter, answer a call, prepare a meal, or show up in places where no one claps. These are the spaces where character grows, where faith roots deep, where love is proven real. And this, too, is holy. Let me treat it that way, Lord, as I continue in this space with you. After offering the quiet parts of my day and the hidden places of my effort, I now bring to you the weight that waits outside of me, the tension of things I cannot control, the pull of demands that arrive uninvited, the moments when expectations feel larger than my capacity. Father, I need your peace, not the kind that waits for the world to settle, but the kind that settles me before the world even speaks. I feel how quickly pressure rises. It sneaks in through the calendar, through notifications, through people's needs and my own assumptions. Sometimes it comes with urgency, sometimes with silence. But either way, it grabs hold, and I confess, Lord, that I often respond by tightening. I tense my shoulders. I brace for disappointment. I rush into decisions or hold too tightly to outcomes. But you are not a God of frantic motion. You are the God who speaks in stillness, the one who leads with peace, not panic. And I long to carry that stillness into this day. So I bring you every pressure point I can name and even the ones I can see, the deadlines that whisper I am behind, the tasks that look too big from where I stand, the conversations I dread, the moments I feel small, the situations I do not yet know how to face. I place them here not in denial, but in surrender. I am not pretending they are light. I am simply admitting I am not made to carry them alone. Let your presence become my boundary, God, not as a wall that keeps the world away, but as a shelter that keeps anxiety from flooding in. I do not ask you to take away all responsibility. I ask you to meet me in the middle of it, to pace me when I feel rushed, to guide me when I feel pulled in opposite directions, to center me when expectations pile up. Help me to see pressure not as my master, but as a signal to return to your voice. Father, when I feel that urge to prove something, to overwork, to overcommit, to explain, to outperform, remind me that I am not required to be everything for everyone. I do not have to outrun fear in order to be faithful. Let me release the need to be impressive. Let me lay down the fear of falling short. Show me again that peace is not found in getting everything done, but in being led moment by your Spirit. I ask for wisdom in how I use my strength today. Help me not to spend energy where it will be wasted. Show me when to say yes with joy and when to say no with peace. Teach me that boundaries are not rejection, they are obedience. They are discernment. Let me not move out of guilt or pressure, but out of clarity and conviction. Help me listen for what you are truly asking of me, not what others demand or what I imagine I must do to stay enough. When interruptions come, Lord, let them not undo me. Let them not steal my presence or my joy. Help me to respond without spiraling, to breathe before reacting, to see the human heart behind every inconvenience. Sometimes the very things that disrupt me are the places where grace is most needed. Let me not miss those moments because I was too focused on my schedule to see a soul. God, I need you especially when tension builds without warning, when a conversation turns sharp, when a plan falls apart, when someone expects more than I can give. Meet me there. Let peace rise before pride. Let humility speak before defensiveness. Let self-control steady me before frustration pushes forward. I do not want to be someone who carries pressure into every room. I want to be someone who carries peace. And even when the day gets loud and full and messy, let your presence remain my steady ground. Let your whisper be louder than the noise around me. Let the inner space we created this morning be a place I return to again and again. I do not want to lose it just because the tempo changes. I want it to go with me into meetings, into decisions, into traffic, into tension. Let me carry calm, not wait for it to find me. Father, teach me to recognize the early signs. When my breathing shortens, when my tone shifts, when my thoughts race ahead, help me notice and return. Let me be brave enough to pause even when everything says to push through. Let me be strong enough to slow down even when expectations rise. Let me be wise enough to trust that rest is not retreat. It is strength, rightly used. And when the world around me does not slow down, when people still demand, when schedules still shift, when things do not go to plan, let me stand inside the storm, not with resistance, but with rest. Let me be anchored where others are swept up, not because I am better, but because I am held. Not because I am passive, because I know who leads me. And from that place, I will move. From that place, I will choose. From that place, I will live this day, not pushed by pressure, but pulled by peace. Father, after laying the pressure of the day in your hands, I realize how often it is not the outside weight that wears me down, it is the chaos within. I come to you now with a mind that, at times, feels crowded and restless. Thoughts loop endlessly. Worries echo louder than truth. Even in the quiet, my mind does not always know how to be still. That is why I need you here. In this space where thoughts are formed and battles are fought silently, I bring you my mind, not just the intentions I speak out loud, but the private wanderings, the unspoken fears, the overthinking, the assumptions, the what-ifs. Lord, help me to begin this day with a mind made clean. I do not mean empty, I mean ordered, centered, steady. I do not ask you to take every thought away, but to take every thought captive, to make my inner world obedient to peace. Where my mind has been pulled in too many directions, gather me. Where it has settled in anxious patterns, renew me. Where it has believed lies too long, free me. I do not want to start this day mentally tangled. I want to think clearly, act wisely, and rest deeply in the truth of who you are. God, I ask that you untangle the noise, the unresolved thoughts, the running commentary, the endless preparing for what has not happened. You said that you are not the author of confusion, but of peace. And so, if my mind is confused, I know I have wandered from your voice. Bring me back, not with a jolt, but with gentle redirection. Let clarity come like light, quietly, but unmistakably. Let it reveal what matters and release what does not. Show me what needs attention and what simply needs to be let go. I confess that my mind often tries to do more than it was made to do. I try to solve problems too early. I rehearse conversations before they exist. I write entire scenarios in my head and then try to control their outcomes. Forgive me for thinking that mental overexertion is the same as preparedness. You never called me to carry what has not yet happened. You called me to trust. I ask you to teach me how to think in trust, not in fear disguised as planning. Father, I also bring you the voices I have allowed into my mind, the opinions that have too much power, the criticism I have accepted as truth, the comparisons that drain my confidence. Help me to separate truth from noise, to filter what enters my thoughts as carefully as I filter what enters my home. Let me not meditate on negativity, feed on doubt, or absorb pressure from voices that are not yours. Train me to be intentional with what I dwell on. Let my thoughts today be shaped by grace, not perfectionism, not performance, not panic. I ask that you fill my mental space with what is good, noble, and true. Let Scripture rise within me like a gentle defense. Let your promises interrupt fear before it grows. Let the sound of your nearness quiet the volume of everything else. Let truth be louder than speculation. Let love be louder than self-judgment. Let peace be louder than the opinions that try to claim authority over my mind. God, I ask for focus that flows from wholeness, not from force or pressure, but from being rooted. Help me to stay present in the task in front of me. Let my thoughts not race ahead into what is unfinished. Let me not carry tomorrow's weight today. When my mind tries to sprint through the hours ahead, Slow me down when I try to multitask my way through uncertainty. Bring me back to one step, one breath, one moment of obedience. And when distraction pulls at me, whether through fatigue or scrolling or worry, draw me back with gentleness. Not guilt, not shame, just a clear invitation to return to awareness, return to center, return to you. I want to be awake in my own life, not numbed by overstimulation. I want to be able to hear when you whisper, not just in prayer, but in the middle of tasks, in the hallway, at my desk, in conversation, in silence. Let that kind of awareness become normal for me. Father, renew not just my thoughts, but the patterns behind them, where I have rehearsed scarcity. Teach me to expect provision, where I have defaulted to self-doubt. Teach me to expect grace, where I have assumed rejection. Teach me to expect kindness. Rewire what fear has distorted. Restore what stress has shaped. Replace what shame has built. And let my mind be a place of rest, not a battlefield, but a sanctuary where you dwell with me. So as I begin this day, I ask for the gift of a clear mind, not just to be productive, but to be peaceful, not just to get through the day, but to be fully here within it. Let me think thoughts that bless rather than burden. Let me hold ideas that uplift rather than undermine. Let my mind reflect the calm you offer, and let it become a refuge that honors you. Not a perfect mind, but a renewed one. Not a silent mind, but a sound one. One that thinks, moves, works, and loves from a place of clarity, confidence, and quiet joy. Father, now that you have calmed the noise in my mind and cleared away the scattered thoughts, I feel more able to recognize what you want to form in me today. My thoughts have slowed, my heart has softened, but I know that what comes next requires more than clarity. It requires wisdom. Before I step into conversations, before I respond to anyone's words or questions, I ask you to teach me, not in theory, but in real time, not just to know the right thing, but to recognize the right moment. Lord, you know how quickly I want to fill silence, how I often feel the need to say something just to avoid discomfort, or to prove I am paying attention, or to protect myself. But today, I want something different. I want to become someone who listens more than I speak, who thinks before answering, who notices before reacting. I want to speak from stillness, not from urgency, from discernment, not from instinct, from love, not from fear. Train me to be thoughtful, even when time is short and emotion is loud. God, there are conversations waiting for me today. Some I expect, some will surprise me. In each one, I want to enter with awareness that words carry weight. A sentence can soothe or stir, comfort or confuse, heal or harden. I ask you to meet me in the space between hearing, answering, in that small pause where I get to choose the spirit in which I speak. That moment is sacred, and I want to treat it that way. Let me not rush it. Let me not waste it. Teach me what it means to carry wisdom, not as information I have stored, but as awareness that flows from you. The kind that sees what's behind the words someone speaks. The kind that hears tone and tension and knows when to go deeper or when to wait. I do not want to be clever. I do not want to impress. I want to speak in a way that brings peace, even if I am only saying a few words. Let my words carry stillness. Let them carry grace. Father, I surrender my need to always explain myself. Sometimes silence is stronger than any defense. Teach me when to stay quiet, not out of fear, but out of strength. Not because I have nothing to say, but because not everything needs to be said. I have learned that wisdom is not always loud, that truth can wait, that love sometimes speaks best in presence, not in speech. Let me be slow to speak, not so I can craft perfect sentences, but so I can remain grounded in you. When I do need to speak, Lord, help me say things that build, words that are clean, clear, and careful. Let my tone match my intention. Let my volume never be louder than my compassion. Help me use words to serve, not to gain control. To bless, not to subtly shame. I do not want to talk to hear my own voice. I want to speak because it brings life. Let my communication today carry the fragrance of trust, not the sharpness of sarcasm or the pressure to prove I am right. And when I am tired, when patience is low and time is tight, and someone says something that stings, meet me there. Let that be the place where wisdom stands guard. Keep my mouth from reacting just to protect my pride. Let me remember in those moments that the people in front of me are carrying burdens too. Let kindness win. Let restraint rise. Let mercy speak louder than anger ever could. God, I also ask for guidance in what not to say. Guard me from gossip disguised as concern, from venting that disguises bitterness, from jokes that wound beneath the surface, from passive comments that hide true emotions. If something needs to be addressed, show me how to do it with clarity. Not cleverness. With sincerity, not subtle jabs. And if something is better left unsaid, give me the courage to leave it there. Father, I long to become someone others feel safe around, not because I say all the right things, but because I know how to listen, because I leave room for silence, because I honor the timing of things. Teach me to value timing as much as truth, to recognize when someone is ready to receive something, and when they are not. Let me not confuse urgency with importance. Let me walk with spiritual rhythm, not emotional reaction. And when I am alone, when the words I speak are only to myself, let them still be wise. Let them still be kind. Let them still be true. Show me how to teach myself as gently as I would a friend, to speak correction without cruelty, to offer truth without condemnation, to call myself higher without cutting myself down. Let wisdom begin in how I treat my own soul. So as I begin this day, with meetings ahead and moments I can't predict, I ask you to be my teacher. My voice does not need to be the loudest in the room. My insight does not have to be the first one shared, but I want it to be the one that brings calm, the one that leaves others feeling seen, not judged, the one that reflects what you are doing inside me. Lead me in every conversation, Lord, not just in what I say, but in when I say it, how I say it, and why I choose to speak at all. Father, after asking for wisdom in when and how to speak, I feel the quiet urging to take the next step, not just to think rightly or speak wisely, but to move with intention, because this day is not only a space to reflect. It is a path I must walk, and even with a clear mind and a peaceful heart, I still need direction, not just big picture direction for my life, but guidance for this moment, this hour, this one next thing I am called to do. Lord, you know how much I long to make the right choices, how often I pause not because I am lazy, but because I am afraid to move in the wrong direction. I hesitate, not out of apathy, but out of uncertainty. What if I misread the situation? What if I miss your voice? What if I step outside of your will without even realizing it? But today, I release that fear. I lay it at your feet, because your guidance is not fragile. Your voice is not hidden. You are not trying to trick me or test me. You lead with kindness, not with riddles. So I surrender my fear of getting it wrong. I choose instead to trust that if my heart is open and my ears are tuned, you will not let me wander far without redirection. I believe that you are able to steer me even as I walk, not just when I wait. That motion does not mean I am moving away from you. That sometimes clarity comes not before the step, but during it. Just like a lamp to my feet, your light reveals what I need for right now. Not the whole road, just the next stone beneath me. God, I ask for that kind of guidance today. Quiet, steady, real. Speak into the spaces where I am unsure. Whisper into the gaps between choices. Let me sense your prompting, not only in moments of silence, but in the middle of action. Whether I am answering an email, joining a conversation, making a plan, or adjusting to something unexpected, let me move in sync with your spirit. When I make decisions today, large or small, remind me to invite you into them. Let my instinct be to ask, not to assume. Let my posture be one of dependence, not presumption. You are not only the God of spiritual matters, you are the God of details. You care about timing, rhythm, and flow. You see connections I cannot. So I ask you to weave wisdom into the ordinary, to guide me not just in the visible steps, but in the heart behind each decision. Father, help me also when the road is not straight, when the choice is not obvious, when both options seem good or neither feels clear. In those moments, help me not to panic, but to pause, not to chase certainty, but to wait for your peace. Let peace, not pressure, be the green light I follow. And if I step without peace, let conviction, not shame, bring me back. Let me learn to trust your correction as much as I trust your direction. God, I also ask you to help me stay aware as I go, to not move so fast that I lose sight of your hand, to not be so consumed with outcomes that I miss divine appointments along the way. Help me notice when you are nudging me to pause, to ask, to turn, to speak, or to stay silent. Let my spirit remain alert even in busy places. Let me remember that guidance does not always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it is the subtle shift, the pause I did not plan, the name that comes to mind. Teach me to pay attention. And Lord, when I feel impatient, when progress feels slow or doors feel closed, keep me from forcing what is not ready. Give me the grace to wait when movement is not yet the next right thing. Teach me that waiting can still be part of walking with you, that stillness is not stagnation, that rest is not refusal. Help me know when to move and when to be still, and give me the courage to do both with trust. Father, I also bring to you the places where I have already made a wrong turn, the moments where I ignored your voice or went ahead without asking. I bring the consequences I now carry and the humility I have gained through them. I do not ask you to erase my missteps, I ask you to redeem them, to teach me through them, to show me how nothing is wasted when surrendered, and to remind me that I am not disqualified from hearing you now, just because I did not listen then. So today, I walk not with fear, but with faith, not with doubt, but with attentiveness. I may not have a full map, but I have your presence. I may not know how the story unfolds, but I know you are the author. I choose to move with open hands, not clutched fists, to move at a pace that matches trust, not tension, to step not out of panic or pride, but out of prayer. Let each step I take today, whether small or significant, reflect the quiet confidence that I am not alone, that I do not lead myself, that I do not need to see everything to move forward. I only need to stay close, to remain soft, to remain surrendered, and from that place, direction becomes less about destination and more about daily nearness to you. Let that be how I move. Let that be how I live. Father, as I take steps forward today with a heart open to your guidance, I realize how vulnerable each step can feel, not because I am unprepared, but because I am human, because life carries risk, because I cannot control what lies ahead or predict what might interrupt the path. I bring you that awareness now, not as fear, but as surrender. I acknowledge the fragility of what I cannot see, and I place my trust in the protection only you can provide. Lord, I know you are not only the God who leads me, you are the one who shields me, not just in dramatic, visible ways, but in countless moments I may never even realize. You protect me in traffic I did not encounter, in illness that did not reach me, in words that were never spoken, in doors that were never opened. You stand at the edge of what I know, keeping watch with a love I can measure. And today, I ask to walk in that confidence, not in ignorance of danger, but in awareness of your nearness. I bring you the parts of my life that feel most exposed, my physical body, my emotional health, my relationships, my finances, my choices, and the people I love. I know that protection does not always mean avoiding all hardship. Sometimes it means you walk with me through it. Sometimes it means you carry me in it. But I believe deeply that nothing can reach me without first passing through your permission. You are not distant or indifferent. You are attentive, intentional, and present in every detail. God, place your covering over my mind today. Keep intrusive thoughts from planting fear. Shield me from lies that try to take root. Guard me against confusion that distorts what I know to be true. Let truth be my helmet. Let peace be my atmosphere. Let every anxious trigger lose its grip in the presence of your steadfastness. I do not want to live in reaction to threat. I want to live in response to trust. Cover my body with strength and health. Keep me alert where I need to be, and rested where I tend to push too far. Let my immune system be sustained. Let my energy be stable. Keep injury and harm far from me. Surround me on the road, in every room, and even in the stillness. Be the unseen barrier that allows me to move with courage. Not caution, not because danger does not exist, but because you are greater than all of it. Lord, I ask for protection over my emotions as well. Let peace be the boundary line around my heart. Don't let the moods of others undo me. Don't let criticism define me. Don't let old wounds open just because today feels heavy. Let me carry resilience, not because I am numb, but because I am held. Teach me the difference between self-protection and spiritual covering. I do not want to harden, I want to be wise. I lift up the people I love, their names rise to the surface of my spirit now. Those I see every day, and those I rarely get to hold. I ask you to be where I cannot be, to walk with them, surround them, and lead them, even if they never speak your name. Cover them with your mercy. Let them encounter safety, even when they do not recognize its source. And where harm has already come, I ask for your restoration, that what has been shaken would not be destroyed, that what has been broken would not remain so. Father, protect me from unseen influence voices I trust that might lead me astray, agreements I make without realizing, patterns I fall into without discernment. Help me to walk in wisdom, to recognize what drains me, to flee from what entangles, to say no without guilt and yes without fear. Let my choices today be guarded by your Spirit, so that I do not enter places you have not called me to, or remain in situations you are asking me to leave. God, let your protection go before me in ways I can plan. If something unexpected comes, an emergency, a confrontation, a disappointment, be my shield. Let my reflex not be panic, but prayer. Let my first instinct not be control, but calm. Let the ground beneath me feel steady even when circumstances are not. Let peace surround me like armor, quietly, but unbreakably. Father, I trust you with the invisible, with the moments no one sees, with the threats I do not recognize, with the moments that catch me off guard. I trust that you are not only good when things go smoothly, you are good even when they do not. You remain. You stay. You protect not just my safety but my soul. You guard not just my surroundings, but my spirit. You stand at the threshold of my life, and because of that, I can walk with peace. So today, as I go out, as I move, as I encounter people and moments I cannot predict, I carry this awareness with me. I am not unguarded. I am not uncovered. I am not exposed to life without a defender. My peace does not come from perfect conditions, but from your faithful presence. I do not need to live in fear of what might come, because I live in trust of who goes with me. I move through this day wrapped not in worry, but in the quiet assurance that I am safely, completely, and continually held. Father, as I rest in the awareness of your protection, steady, constant, and surrounding I begin to notice the places within me that remain tender. The parts not threatened from the outside, but still aching on the inside. Because even when I walk with wisdom, even when I feel safe and seen, there are wounds that do not fully disappear in a moment. I bring those to you now, not hidden, not polished, but open. I trust you not just as my defender, but as my healer. Lord, you see what still hurts, even the things I try to move past, even the emotions I have buried to keep moving. You know the story behind every scar, what was said, what was lost, what was hoped for and did not happen. You know what left me breathless with disappointment, what confused me, what hollowed out part of my confidence. And though time has moved forward, pain does not always follow that same clock. So I bring it to you again, trusting that you are not tired of my return. God, I do not need to explain these wounds to you, but I do need to stop pretending they are not there. Sometimes the pain is loud. Sometimes it is a quiet hum in the background of my day. It flares unexpectedly. It gets triggered by a memory, a smell, a tone, a silence. It makes me hesitate, makes me protect, makes me pull back. And while I have built systems around it to keep functioning, I do not want to just function, I want to heal. I want to live freely, not carefully guarded. I bring you my emotional wounds, the heartbreaks that still echo, the betrayal that still stings, the rejection I did not see coming, the words I can forget, the grief I have hidden beneath busy days, the dreams that feel out of reach, the relationships that never quite found peace. I ask you to meet me inside those places, not with glitches or quick fixes, but with comfort and compassion. You do not tell me to get over it. You invite me to walk through it with you, and I want to walk with you there, even if it is slow. Father, I ask for healing in my body too. You know every cell, every strain, every imbalance. You know what I carry quietly, what I have adapted around. You know the fatigue I have ignored, the symptoms I have dismissed, the tension I have learned to live with. And while I do not demand answers, I do ask for wholeness, for restoration, for your touch to go where medicine cannot, for your wisdom to guide every decision I make about rest, movement, nourishment, and care. Let healing begin not just in what I do, but in how I believe you are still involved. Lord, I also bring to you the places where I have caused pain within myself and toward others, the decisions I made when I was hurting, the words I spoke from a place of fear, the ways I have participated in my own brokenness, reinforcing lies instead of choosing healing. Forgive me for the patterns I have repeated because they were familiar, for the walls I have built that also kept love out, for not trusting that healing was worth the risk. Give me courage to break those agreements, to live like someone who is becoming whole, not just surviving. God, I ask for healing in the spiritual places I rarely name aloud, the doubts that still surface, the anger I have aimed at you, the questions that do not have clean answers, the distance I sometimes feel even when I pray. I know you are not offended by these things. You are not threatened by my wrestling. You do not shame me for feeling unsure. So I bring you every silent H of my faith. Every moment I pretended to be stronger than I felt. Every wound I got while trying to follow you in the dark. Speak into those places with tenderness. Remind me that healing is not weakness. That tending to old wounds is not regression. That slowing down is not failure. I believe you are the God who restores, not just partially, but fully. Even when the process is long, even when it unfolds in quiet ways, even when it does not look like I expected, you do not waste pain. You do not ignore it. You do not leave it to fester. You meet it with your hands and shape something new. Father, teach me to participate in my own healing, to not rush through what needs presence, to not skip over what needs acknowledgement, to rest when I need to rest, to cry when I need to grieve, to ask for help when I have reached my limit, to believe that healing is holy, even when it is hard. I release the timeline I have placed on this process. I release the comparison to others. I receive the journey you have uniquely designed for me. So today, I move gently with others, and with myself. I speak softly to the parts that still ache. I stop apologizing for the wounds that still bleed. I lean into the belief that healing does not always come with noise. It often arrives like a quiet tide, returning again and again until what was raw becomes restored. Let me feel that tide rising within me today, not because I forced it, but because I opened space for it to come. And where it still hurts, I will not hide. I will keep coming back to you, the one who stays, the one who sees, the one who heals. Father, as I sit with the parts of me that still ache and offer them to you without resistance, I sense you turning my attention to the deeper layers beneath the pain, the spaces where repeated wounds have grown into patterns, where disappointments have hardened into habits, where what once protected me has now begun to limit me. This is not just about healing anymore. It is about freedom, about no longer living in quiet agreement. What was never meant to hold power over me. Lord, I bring you the cycles I have grown too familiar with, the ones I can predict because they have looped so many times, the behaviors I fall into when I am tired or triggered, the reactions I excuse because they feel automatic, the choices I rationalize because I have made them before. I bring you the internal narratives that play like background noise telling me I will never change, that it is too late, that I am stuck, that this is just who I am. I bring you the spiritual exhaustion of trying to break free without knowing how. God, I confess that there are ways I have adjusted to dysfunction, ways I have let fear sit in the driver's seat, ways I have settled for survival instead of believing wholeness was possible. Sometimes I have mistaken consistency for truth. If a pattern stays long enough, it starts to feel like identity. But you did not create me to be ruled by repetition. You did not redeem me so I could remain in invisible cages. You are not calling me to cope, you are calling me to walk free. So I ask you now to expose every cycle I have made peace with. Shine light on what I have normalized. Call out the agreements I have made with lies about myself, about others, about you. Show me what I have defended that has only kept me limited. Show me the doors I have closed in fear that were actually exits from old prisons. Show me what I have confused as personality, but is actually unhealed pain rehearsing itself in motion. Father, I invite your Spirit to confront the root systems, not just the surface behaviors, but what drives them, the control that masks insecurity, the perfectionism that covers shame, the sarcasm that hides disappointment, the pride that protects a scared heart. Uproot every hidden seed of bitterness, comparison, scarcity, or unforgiveness that has grown up into a pattern I have mistaken for protection. Break it gently, but completely. And as you reveal these places, Lord, do not let me fall into despair. I am not here to shame myself for the past. I am here to say that I believe you are doing something new. Even if I do not feel ready, even if I am afraid of what change will require, even if part of me still clings to what is familiar, I trust that freedom is not only a destination, it is a process that begins with surrender. So I begin here, with open hands and a soft heart. God, show me the way forward, not just away from the old, but into something holy. Give me the courage to pause before repeating the pattern, to breathe before reacting the same way, to name the trigger, to reject the script, to choose a new response even if it is messy at first. Let grace meet me in every shaky step. Let hope rise as a quiet strength. Let joy be found in small victories. I am not who I was, and I will not continue to live as if I am. Help me rebuild routines around renewal, to change how I speak to myself, to shift what I allow into my thoughts, to set boundaries that make space for transformation. Let my home reflect peace, not chaos. Let my rhythms reflect intentionality, not impulse. Let my words reflect identity, not insecurity. Teach me how to live like someone who is not bound anymore, not just spiritually free in theory, but emotionally free in practice. Father, I lift up the generational patterns too, the family cycles I may have inherited, the behaviors passed down through trauma, silence, fear, or survival. I will not blame, but I will not carry them forward either. I stand now in the gap, asking for a new lineage to begin with me, not a perfect one, but a redeemed one. Let healing flow backwards and forwards from this point. Let what you do in me become a testimony for those who follow. God, I recognize that breaking cycles does not mean I will never struggle again, but it does mean I am no longer powerless. I carry your spirit. I carry wisdom. I carry the authority to choose differently. Let that truth settle deep in my bones. When the old voices try to rise, remind me I have a new name. When the old feelings try to speak, remind me I am led by truth, not emotion. Let me walk each day with the awareness that freedom is not just possible, it is already unfolding. So today, as I move forward, I release the lie that change is too hard. I reject the notion that I will always be this way. I refuse to recycle pain into performance. I choose to be a witness to grace, even when growth is slow. I choose to tell a new story with how I think, how I speak, how I respond, and how I live, not because I am forcing change, but because you are making all things new, including me. And I want to live like that is true, starting right now. Father, Now that I have chosen to break free from the patterns that held me, I know there will be moments where walking in freedom will require courage. It won't always be easy. There will be conversations I have avoided, boundaries I need to draw, truths I must tell myself without softening. So I come to you now not just for permission to change, but for the bravery to live it out, especially when it costs something. Lord, you know the exact moments that make my heart race. The ones I would rather skip, the ones I replay in my head long before they ever happen. You see where I shrink back to keep the peace, even when it means losing a part of myself. You know when I settle for silence because honesty feels too costly. But I also know that you do not call me to a timid faith. You do not lead me to live small. Your Spirit does not equip me for avoidance, it equips me for truth spoken in love. God, give me courage today, not the kind that comes from pretending I am not scared, not the kind that masks insecurity with pride, but the courage that flows from knowing I am never alone. That even if my voice shakes, you are steady. That even if my knees tremble, you go before me. That my strength is not measured by how loudly I speak, but by how faithfully I stand in what is right. Show me what I need to face today instead of running from it. Help me stop rehearsing the worst-case scenarios and start preparing my heart for your peace. You have not called me to avoid discomfort at all costs. You have called me to walk with integrity, even when it stretches me. Let me carry truth with humility. Let me carry compassion with boundaries. Let me be both kind and honest, both gentle and bold. Father, give me the words when I do not know what to say. Help me speak with clarity, not coded in apology, but rooted in respect. And when I need to be silent, give me wisdom to know that too. Sometimes courage looks like speaking up, and sometimes it looks like walking away. Let me be grounded in discernment, not driven by reaction. Let me choose what is right, even when it is misunderstood. God, I ask for courage to face myself, to confront the habits I have excused, to admit when I have been wrong, to name the things I have ignored because they are too painful. Show me the truth, not to shame me, but to set me free. Help me to stop minimizing what matters and avoiding what I know you are asking me to bring into the light. I do not want to keep hiding parts of my story. I want to walk in full integrity even if it costs me the image I have tried to protect. When I feel pressure to please everyone, remind me that peace does not always mean agreement, that I can be obedient to you and still disappoint people, that I can be faithful and still misunderstood. Let me not twist myself into versions of who I think others want me to be. Let me be true, even if it is quiet. Let me be whole, even if it is hard. Let me be free, even if it means standing alone in moments. Father, help me take responsibility where I need to clean up what I can, to apologize without defending, to forgive without holding leverage, to admit when I have hurt someone, to ask forgiveness without expecting a certain response. Let me be someone who owns my words, my choices, my silence, and my influence. Not because I am perfect, but because I want to live a life marked by integrity and grace. God, when confrontation comes, whether I invite it or it finds me, keep me anchored. Let me stay calm even when others are not. Let me stay kind even when others are sharp. Let me stay true to my values even when emotions rise. Remind me that I do not fight with weapons of manipulation or pride, but with peace, patience, and a sound mind. That courage is not just about confrontation, it is about how I carry myself through it. Help me not avoid growth simply because it is uncomfortable. Let me stretch. Let me rise. Let me mature in areas where I have stayed safe too long. Let me learn how to hold both compassion and truth in the same hand. Let me not be afraid to say, "This matters." Let me not hesitate to say, "This needs to change." Let me be the one who brings light, not more noise, who chooses clarity over passive tolerance, who stands up without tearing down. And Lord, when the courage runs low, when I feel small or tired or unsure, remind me that I was not made to muster it all on my own. You are the source of strength that does not run dry. You are the voice that says, "Do not fear, for I am with you." You are the hand that lifts my chin and steadies my steps. You are the one who walks with me into every hard place I must go. So today, I will not shrink back. I will not choose comfort over calling. I will not let fear decide what I say or how I show up. I will step into each moment, knowing that courage does not mean I have no fear. It means fear does not get the final say. And as I live with open eyes and a steady heart, may every step I take reflect the quiet boldness of someone who knows they are held, loved, and sent not to keep the peace, but to make it, not to hide from challenge, but to walk through it with you. Father, now that I have asked you for the courage to face difficult moments with truth and strength, I feel you gently guiding me toward the relationships that surround those moments, because courage is not just about what I confront, it is about how I live in community. And even when I stand strong, I want my strength to be covered in kindness. Even when I speak honestly, I want my words to be shaped by love. So I come to you now, asking for favor with people and peace within myself. Lord, you see the full web of connections in my life. The friendships, the family bonds, the coworkers, the people I pass briefly but whose energy still lingers. You know where harmony flows and where tension simmers just beneath the surface. You know the conversations I am avoiding and the ones rehearsed 1,000 times in my head. You know the people I long to feel closer to and the ones I wish I could understand. And so I bring every relationship to you, not to be perfect, but to be real. God, I ask first for humility. Strip away my defensiveness. Show me where I have assumed too much, where I have listened to respond instead of listening to understand, where I have let pride create distance. I do not want to be someone who always needs to be right. I want to be someone who loves well, someone who makes space for others to show up fully, even when we do not see the world the same way. Let my interactions be led by grace, not ego. Give me patience, especially when emotions are high and words feel sharp. Help me to take a breath before reacting, to ask questions before assuming, to seek connection, not control. Let me be willing to apologize first, to forgive without being asked, to serve without keeping score. Show me how to lower my voice when the moment invites escalation, how to soften my tone when my emotions want to harden it, how to offer gentleness as a form of strength, not weakness. Father, in places where distance has formed, I ask for restoration, not forced closeness, but honest reconciliation. If something is broken, help me not to ignore it. If something is fragile, help me hold it with care. Let me not sweep things under the rug in the name of peacekeeping. Let me pursue peace in the form of clarity and compassion, even if the outcome is not what I hope. Let the posture of my heart be right. And Lord, in relationships where restoration is not possible or healthy, give me peace to release. Help me understand that letting go is not always bitterness. It can be love, too. It can be maturity. It can be obedience. If you are asking me to walk away from a place that no longer honors growth or respect, let me do it without guilt. Let me grieve it honestly and then walk in peace. God, I also ask for favor not to manipulate outcomes, but to carry your presence into every room. Let something in the way I speak, move, and respond reflect you. Let others feel safe around me, even if they never know why. Let my presence bring calm. Let my words bring life. Let my posture speak of stability. I want to be someone others can trust, not because I am flawless, but because I am anchored in love. Show me how to see people the way you see them, not just through their behavior, but through their worth. Not through their reaction, but through their humanity. Teach me to honor people, even when we disagree, even when I feel hurt, even when I feel invisible. Let me not repay sharpness with sharpness, or coldness with withdrawal. Let me choose grace in the places where it is least expected. Father, help me find peace within myself so that I do not project my own unrest onto others. Show me what parts of conflict come from insecurity inside me. Show me where I have placed expectations on people to fill voids only you can meet. Let me stop making others responsible for my sense of value. Teach me how to carry myself in relationships with dignity, with honesty, and without hidden agendas. And when I feel misunderstood, misread, or overlooked, my kindness is dismissed or my silence is mistaken, help me to remain steady. Let me not shrink or overcompensate. Let me stay aligned with you, not needing every opinion to confirm my worth. Let my peace come from knowing I showed up with honesty and integrity, not perfection. Let my identity rest in who you say I am, not who others believe me to be. God, thank you for the people you have placed in my life, for those who challenge me and those who comfort me, for those I learn from and those I pour into. Let me be a good steward of every connection. Let me not take for granted the privilege of being seen and seeing others, even in brief encounters. Let my presence be a gift, even in long relationships. Let my presence be a safe place to land. So today, as I walk among strangers and loved ones alike, let me do so with a heart that is soft and a spirit that is strong. Let me bring peace without needing praise. Let me offer patience without needing control. Let me give honor without needing recognition. Let me live in such a way that my peace with others starts from a deep peace within myself. Not because everything is easy, but because I am rooted in love, guided by grace, and committed to walking in kindness on purpose. Father, after praying for favor in my relationships and peace within my own soul, I feel you turning my focus to the work ahead, the responsibilities waiting for me, the tasks that will require my energy, my attention, and my time. Whether I am leading a team, caring for a home, building something new, or simply showing up to a familiar routine, I know this truth. Today, I will put my hands to something, and however ordinary or unnoticed that something may seem, I want it to be worship. Lord, I invite you into my work, not just the big dreams or high-impact projects, but the small, repetitive, humble tasks that shape my days. Folding clothes, sending emails, washing dishes, attending meetings, checking in with someone, finishing a report, managing a schedule. These moments, too, are holy if they are surrendered to you. I ask that you would sanctify the spaces I move in today, not by changing what I do, but by transforming how I see it. Help me to see my work as more than a means to an end. Let me see it as a field you have entrusted to me to tend with care. Whether it is filled with people, problems, numbers, or noise, it matters to you because I am in it. Let me bring integrity to every detail, excellence to every effort, presence to every task. Let me not measure the importance of my work by its visibility, but by its faithfulness. God, when I feel unnoticed in what I do, remind me that you see everything. The early mornings, the long hours, the uncelebrated efforts, the behind-the-scenes sacrifices, the things I do out of love that no one thanks me for, the parts of my job that stretch me, the parts that bore me, and the parts that quietly shape me. All of it matters when is done unto you. Let my motivation not be praise, but purpose. Let my reward not be recognition, but knowing I honored you in the process. Father, I ask for focus in the tasks ahead. Keep me from distraction that wastes the day. Keep me from pressure that warps it. Let me not confuse business with effectiveness. Teach me how to work with rhythm and wisdom, when to push forward, when to pause, when to delegate, when to slow down. I do not want to spend the day spinning in circles. I want to move with clarity and intention. Give me a spirit of creativity. Show me new ways to solve old problems, fresh approaches to routine tasks. Let innovation rise in me, not for my ego, but for the good of those around me. Help me bring light into my workplace. Let my attitude shift the atmosphere. Let my tone set a new tempo. Let me carry peace into deadlines, hope into frustration, and grace into moments that usually feel rushed. Lord, protect my heart from comparison in the middle of my work. It is easy to look at what others are building and feel like I am behind, to scroll past success and assume I am missing something. But you have given me my assignment, my gifts, and my lane. Let me be faithful here. Let me build steadily, not speedily. Let me celebrate others without questioning myself. Let me be content in the pace you have chosen for me. And when the day gets long, when fatigue sets in, or results feels, teach me how to rest without quitting, how to take breaks that restore, not distract. How to breathe deeply and reset instead of grinding through in numbness. Let me care for this body you have given me, knowing that I cannot sustain what I do if I ignore what I need. Let rest be part of my rhythm, not something I earn, but something I honor. God, help me also to serve others through my work, whether it is seen as ministry or marketplace. Let me carry a posture of service. Let me be someone who lifts burdens, not adds to them. Someone who asks how they can help, not how they can win. Someone who notices needs others overlook. Let me bring light into heavy spaces. Let me be the one who makes it easier for others to breathe, even just for a moment. And in the places where work brings tension in teams. In personalities. In pressure, give me wisdom and grace. Help me navigate conflict with humility. Let me not be driven by ego or insecurity. Let me be honest, but not harsh. Clear, but not cold. Anchored, but not arrogant. I want to be someone who helps build culture, not chaos, who brings peace, not just productivity. So today, Father, as I begin what needs to be done, I offer it all to you. My time, my hands, my mind, my words, my energy. Let the ordinary become sacred. Let my effort become an offering. Let every task, every conversation, every moment spent solving or serving or showing up, let it all echo with purpose. Not just for a paycheck, not just for progress, but because it is another chance to reflect who you are through how I work, how I lead, and how I love. Let my work today be a reflection of worship, not loud, not flashy, but steady, excellent, and surrendered. Let it become the place where heaven touches earth in the most ordinary of ways, through the faithfulness of one who simply showed up and said, "Here I am." Father, as I bring my work to you and offer every task as worship, I become aware of the quiet pressure I sometimes carry, the weight of trying to do everything right, to not fall behind, to be enough in every space. Even in my desire to honor you with all I do, I can start chasing perfection more than presence. And so, in this moment, I pause and exhale. I bring you not just my effort, but my humanity. Because you never asked me to be flawless. You asked me to be faithful. Lord, I confess how often I measure myself against impossible standards. How easily I focus on what I did not get done, instead of the grace you gave for what I did. How quickly I remember my mistakes and forget my progress. There is a voice inside that keeps score, that whispers I should be further along. Stronger, cleaner, calmer, more capable. But you are not that voice. You do not call me by my shortcomings. You call me by my name, God. I want to learn how to be gentle with myself, not out of laziness, but out of understanding. Help me remember that growth is not linear, that some days will feel light and others will feel like walking through mud, that energy comes and goes, that healing takes time, that effort matters, even when the results are slow. Teach me how to speak to myself with the kindness you always show me, to hold my own heart the way you hold it in tenderness and truth. when I fall short today, and I will help me not spiral into shame. Let conviction do its work without letting condemnation have a voice. Let me be quick to admit wrong, quick to seek restoration, quick to extend forgiveness to others and to myself. Remind me that grace was never meant to be a reward for doing things perfectly. It is a gift for those willing to keep showing up, even when it is messy. Father, when I am overwhelmed, help me not to perform, not to pretend I am fine when I am not to hide behind business when what I need is rest. Let me be honest about my capacity. Let me ask for help without apology. Let me create space for rest without guilt. You created me with limits, not as a flaw, but as an invitation to depend on you. Let me lean into that truth, especially on days when my humanity feels more visible than my strength. Give me discernment when I set expectations. Let me not overload my schedule in the name of productivity. Let me not compare my pace to someone else's highlight reel. Help me recognize what truly matters and what I can release. Teach me how to let go of things that were never mine to carry. Remind me that slowing down is not failure, it is faith in motion. Lord, when I interact with others today, let me carry this grace with me. Let me see the humanity in them too. Let me not expect from them what I struggle to live out myself. Let me show patience to the hurried, gentleness to the anxious, mercy to the unkind. Let me be someone who makes room for others to be imperfect, to be learning, to be growing. Let my compassion stretch beyond what is comfortable. Let it reflect how deeply I have received grace from you. Help me also to stop editing my story, to make it look cleaner than it is. Let me be someone who is honest about the journey, who does not pretend to have it all together, who does not hide the wrestle, who is willing to say, I am still learning, and mean it, not for sympathy, but for truth, because transparency opens the door for connection, and connection is often where healing begins. God, remind me that my weakness does not disqualify me, it draws you near, that you are not shocked by my struggle, that you do not flinch at my flaws, that you love me fully right here, not someday when I have figured it all out. Let that kind of love change how I see myself. Let it calm the internal panic that says I have to prove something today. Let it settle my soul into the truth that I am already known and already loved. So today, I choose to move with peace, not pressure. I choose to bring all of myself, the strong parts, the soft parts, the messy parts into this day without pretending. I choose to show up honestly, to speak gently, to rest deeply when I need it, and to celebrate progress, even when it is quiet. I choose to walk in the freedom of knowing that I am human, and you are God, and that has always been enough. Let my imperfection be the place where your glory rests. Let my surrender be more powerful than my striving. Let my honesty invite others to breathe easier. And let my day be a living testimony that even in weakness, grace works, even in limits. Love wins, even in flaws. You are still faithful. That is the kind of strength I want to carry. That is the kind of day I want to live. Father, as I embrace the grace to be human and release the pressure to be perfect, I begin to notice something else stirring in my spirit, the quiet longing for momentum, that ache that whispers, I thought I would be further along by now. I bring that whisper to you today, not to demand an answer, but to acknowledge the weight of waiting, to admit that there are seasons where progress feels invisible and where the path ahead seems covered in fog. In these slow, in-between spaces, I ask for your strength. Lord, you know how deeply I long to see movement, to feel like things are shifting, growing, becoming. It is hard to stay faithful when results are not immediate, when effort feels unnoticed, when prayers seem unanswered. And though I know in my mind that your timing is perfect, my heart sometimes trembles under the stillness. I confess that I equate pace with purpose, that I often confuse slowness with stagnation, that I question myself when things do not unfold quickly. But you are not in a rush. You never have been. You have always worked in rhythms far more patient than mine. The seed must rest in the soil before it becomes a tree. The roots must deepen before the fruit can appear. The foundation must be laid before the building rises. So teach me to see delay not as denial, but as design, to believe that what you are doing in me, though hidden, is holy. God, give me the eyes to see the unseen work, to celebrate the process even when I can't quantify it, to honor the ground beneath me, even when it feels unchanged. Remind me that transformation often happens in silence, that some of the most powerful shifts occur where no one claps and no spotlight shines. Let me learn to value the slow days, the quiet seasons, the unnoticed obedience. Help me not to despise small beginnings or steady rhythms. When my energy dips and my motivation fades, lift my head gently. Breathe your life into my weary heart. Show me the value of consistent faithfulness, even when inspiration is scarce. Remind me that obedience matters just as much when it is hard as it does when it feels easy. That showing up again and again, even with trembling hands, is a form of worship you receive with joy. Father, keep me from measuring my life by the world as timelines, by age, title, numbers, or applause. Keep me from the noise that says I am behind, that I should be doing more, that I must prove my worth through constant productivity. Let me live by the rhythm of grace, not the calendar of culture. Let me walk at your pace, not mine, even if I am slower than others. Even if my harvest takes longer, I trust that your hands are never late. God, I bring you the places that feel like winter, the dreams that seem buried, the relationships that feel quiet, the goals that once felt alive, but now rest dormant. Help me not to uproot what you are still nurturing. Let me not speak death over what you are preparing to bloom. Let me water the ground with hope. Let me tend to the soil with faith. Let me believe that just because I can't see it does not mean you have stopped working. When envy creeps in when I see others moving faster, rising higher, receiving more, guard my heart. Let me not compare my season to theirs. Let me not lose peace by trying to keep pace with a life you never called me to live. Remind me that my journey is not late, not lesser, not lacking. It is simply mine, and you are just as present in the slow as you are in the swift. Father, let me build quietly. Let me grow slowly. Let me believe that roots are as important as branches. Let me love the path, not just the destination. Help me release the need to rush through this season, to wring answers out of the silence, to hurry past discomfort. Let me find beauty in becoming, not just in arriving. Let me find joy in tending, not just in harvesting. And when discouragement hovers, when I wonder if it is worth it, if I am wasting time, if I am moving at all, remind me that faith is not always loud. Sometimes it is a quiet yes in the dark, a single step on an invisible path. A whispered, "I am still here." Let me find strength in that whisper. Let me know that you are walking with me, even if the road is long and the sky is gray. So today, in this season that feels still, I choose to stay faithful, to be gentle with my own process, to stop rushing what is meant to unfold slowly. I choose to show up to the mundane moments with the same reverence as the milestones. I choose to let peace be enough, even when progress is not obvious. I choose to believe that you are working, shaping, stretching, preparing, and that when the time is right, the doors will open, the answers will come, and the bloom will rise. Until then, I will be here rooted, surrendered, and quietly strong. Father, as I settle into the truth that you are present even in the slow seasons, my heart begins to open to something deeper, something I have often overlooked in waiting seasons and long days. Joy, not the loud, fleeting kind, not the celebration that comes only with success or arrival, but the quiet, rooted kind. The joy that grows in the soil of surrender. The joy that remains when nothing around me changes. That is what I long for today, a joy that does not rely on circumstance to stay alive. Lord, I confess how often I have postponed joy. I have linked it to outcomes, tied it to milestones, and set it behind future accomplishments. I have told myself I will be happy when the door opens, when the goal is met, when the waiting ends. But joy was never meant to live in someday. Joy was meant for now, for this breath, for this ordinary, imperfect, beautiful day. You are here, and if you are here, joy is possible now. God, awaken me to the joy that already exists around me. In sunlight spilling through the curtains, in the way morning air smells, just a little different, in the warmth of a familiar voice, in laughter that sneaks up unexpectedly, in small victories, in simple beauty, in silent moments that feel like a whisper from you. Let me not overlook these gifts, because they are subtle. Teach me to become a person who notices when heaviness tries to settle in, when stress wraps itself around my ribs, when discouragement crouches at my doorstep. Remind me that joy is not naive, it is resilient. It does not ignore reality, but it redefines how I move through it. Joy does not pretend life is easy, but it clings to the truth that you are still good. It does not mean every moment is fun or exciting, but it means that even in sadness, I am not alone. Father, help me choose joy when cynicism seems easier, when the world feels noisy and heavy and out of control. Let joy become my resistance, not fake smiles or hollow optimism, but the soul-deep gladness that says, God is still on the throne. My story is still unfolding. Goodness still exists. Let joy be the defiant song I carry in quiet places. Let it remind me of the goodness I am still allowed to feel. God, remind me that joy and sorrow can coexist, that I do not have to wait until everything is resolved to let my heart feel alive. Let me laugh in the middle of grief. Let me dance in the middle of waiting. Let me sing even when I do not have answers. Let my soul be spacious enough to hold both longing and gratitude, both questions and wonder. Let joy not be the absence of hardship, but the evidence of grace. I bring you the places in me that feel numb, the spaces I have closed off because they have been hurt too many times. Breathe joy into those parts. Loosen the tightness. Restore playfulness where I have grown too serious. Restore hope where I have grown tired. Restore curiosity where I have grown cautious. Remind me that joy is part of being fully alive, and you came so I could live fully, not just survive. Lord, when I am around others, help me carry joy as a gift. Let my presence lighten the atmosphere. Let my eyes reflect warmth. Let my words lift others without forcing them to pretend they are okay. Let my joy be a shelter, not a demand. Let it give others permission to breathe, to hope, to laugh again. I want to be someone whose joy is contagious, not because my life is perfect, but because my trust in you is real. And when I feel the temptation to mute my joy because others are struggling, remind me that true joy is never selfish. It never mocks suffering. It does not make light of pain. It simply reminds us that light still breaks through, that laughter is still sacred, that celebration is still part of being human. Help me discern when to share it and when to hold space quietly, but never let me believe joy is something to be ashamed of. Father, I ask that you protect my joy today from bitterness, from distraction, from negativity that wants to wrap around my heart and drag me back into heaviness. Guard it like a flame on a windy hill. Let it grow stronger with time. Let it warm my whole inner world until I stop waiting for circumstances to make me feel alive and instead wake up to the life that is already here. So today, I will not postpone joy. I will not tie it to perfection. I will not leave it on the other side of goals. I will welcome it here and now in this moment, in this body, in this day. With all its imperfections and unpredictability, I will find joy in being alive, in being loved, in being held, in being human. And I will let that joy move through me like sunlight, gentle, consistent, unforced, not as a reward for a job well done, but as a reminder that even now, even here, life is still full of beauty, and you are still good. Father, after resting in the quiet joy that refuses to depend on outcomes, my heart begins to turn toward what lies ahead, toward the blank spaces of the future that I cannot predict or control, the questions I do not have answers to, the possibilities that stir both wonder and anxiety. I bring all of it to you now, not to demand certainty, but to ask for hope. A kind of hope that does not collapse under waiting. A hope that endures when the road is hidden and the next step feels unsteady. Lord, you know how much I crave clarity, how I want to see the path laid out, how I long for assurance that it is all going to work out the way I imagine. I often come to you looking for signs, timelines, direction written in the sky, And while sometimes you speak with unmistakable clarity, other times you ask me to trust you without a map, to believe you are good even when I cannot see the full picture. That is the kind of hope I need today, God. When I think about the future, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. There are so many moving pieces, so many what-ifs, so many things I can control. I worry about the people I love, the places I am called to step into, the dreams I carry that still feel out of reach. I worry about missing the open door, the right turn, the moment I was made for. But you do not lead me through fear. You lead me through faith. You remind me that I do not need to see the whole staircase to take the next step. So I surrender the need to know everything. I surrender the pressure to predict or prepare for every possibility. I surrender the fear that tells me I must have it all figured out. And in that surrender, I make space for hope, a deep, anchoring hope that says, even if I do not know what is next, I know who goes with me. Let that truth be enough. Let it settle my heart. Let it become the ground I stand on when life feels unstable. Father, show me how to carry hope practically, not just as an idea, but as a way of moving through this day. Let it show up in my posture, my voice, my choices. Let it color how I speak to others. Let it lift my eyes when I am tempted to keep my head down. Let it remind me that life is not limited to what I have experienced so far, that you are still writing new pages, that my story is not over, that there is more beauty, more joy, more purpose still ahead. And when uncertainty feels like too much, when the silence stretches long, or a door closes without explanation, guard me from despair. Let disappointment visit, but not take root. Let grief come without erasing gratitude. Let hope stay even when the winds blow hard. Teach me how to be someone who waits well, who trusts quietly, who hopes deeply, not because the road is easy, but because the one who walks with me is faithful. God, remind me that hope is not fragile. It is not a feeling that comes and goes. It is not wishful thinking. It is a choice to believe that you are not finished, that you redeem what is broken, that you resurrect what looks dead, that you restore what seems lost. Let that kind of hope become my lens, not because it removes all uncertainty, because it changes how I see the unknown, not as a threat, but as a place where miracles still happen. When fear starts to creep in, let hope be my response. When I am tempted to brace for disappointment, let hope be the gentle voice that says, "But what if something beautiful is still possible?" When I want to close my heart to protect it, let hope convince me that staying open is still worth it. Let hope be the quiet confidence that walks me through the fog, that waits with dignity, that grieves honestly but never gives up. Father, I also ask for hope on behalf of others, those who can pray right now, because they are too tired, too discouraged, too lost in confusion. Be near to them. Whisper hope back into their hearts. Use my life to point them to possibility. Let the way I carry hope become a signpost to someone who has lost their way. Let my story be evidence that darkness does not get the final word, that even now, in the mess and mystery of life, you are still moving. So today, I choose hope not because everything feels sure, but because you are still God. You are still writing beauty from ashes. You are still working in ways I do not yet see. I won't wait for certainty to open my hands. I will open them now. I will walk in trust now. I will speak life now. I will dream again now. Even here, even without answers, I will live like something good is still ahead. Because hope is not a product of circumstance, is a result of knowing you. Let that hope become the rhythm of my breath. Let it carry me through every hour. Let it shape the way I see the world and myself. And when the unknown feels too wide to cross, remind me that you are already there waiting, preparing, drawing me forward not with pressure, but with love. That is the kind of hope that holds. That is the kind of hope I choose. That is the kind of hope I need to live this day well. Father, now that I have anchored my heart in hope that outlasts uncertainty and dares to believe that beauty is still unfolding, I feel you calling me to carry that hope into the world around me, not as a burden, but as a light. Because this world is weary, so many are tired, so many walk with their heads down, weighed by headlines, heartbreak, pressure, and pain. And I do not want to just survive this life. I want to live it as a light bearer, to walk lightly through heavy places, to bring peace where tension lingers, to radiate compassion in moments that feel cold. Lord, I ask that you make me a quiet light in loud spaces. Let me not push or preach, but simply carry your presence like a lantern, steady, soft, warm. Let people feel a difference in the way I move. Not because I draw attention, but because I carry peace that cannot be faked. Let me respond instead of react. Let me remain calm when anxiety wants to spread. Let my eyes communicate safety, my words release encouragement, and my posture invite rest. God, I know I can fix the world. I can carry every burden. I can make pain disappear for everyone I love. But I can show up. I can listen deeply. I can make space for stories that are not my own. I can be gentle in a culture that is often sharp. I can remain kind when others choose anger. I can offer patience when everything feels rushed. I can choose forgiveness even when revenge would feel justified. When I walk into a room today, into a meeting, a kitchen, a street, a text thread, let me ask, how can I bring light here? Not by pretending everything's okay, but by being a steady presence in the midst of what is not. Let me carry peace like an inner current that cannot be disrupted by outer chaos. Let me bring clarity when confusion fills the air. Let me extend grace when mistakes are made. Let me speak gently even when I must speak boldly. Father, teach me to be a person who makes others feel lighter, not by fixing them, but by simply being with them. Let my words be like soft rain, not sharp wind. Let my timing be guided by wisdom, not urgency. Let me speak truth, but never without tenderness. Let me correct only when invited and love without needing to be right. Let my presence be a quiet permission slip to rest, to breathe, to be real. Help me to see the pain that hides behind smiles. Help me to pause before assuming. Help me to ask questions that open hearts, not close them. Let me not rush people through their process. Let me not offer quick answers to deep wounds. Help me be okay with silence when someone just needs to be heard. Let me honor the sacredness of other people's pain without making it about me. God, the world needs healers who are not loud, who do not always post but always show up, who are not desperate to be seen but desperate to love, who carry depth instead of performance, who know how to mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice, who carry sacredness into secular spaces and are not afraid to stand still in the storm with someone who is breaking. Let me be that kind of person. Father, when I get tired, when the weight of other people's pain feels like too much, teach me how to return to you without shame. Teach me how to refuel in your presence so I do not run dry trying to pour into others. Teach me how to draw healthy boundaries without closing my heart. Let my compassion flow from overflow, not obligation. Let me remember that even Jesus rested, that even you created the Sabbath, that even light has rhythm. When I start to feel like I am not doing enough, remind me that presence is powerful, that I do not need to have eloquent words or big solutions to make a difference, that sometimes just staying is enough. Sometimes just showing up quietly is more healing than 1,000 speeches. Help me to stop measuring my impact by noise or numbers. Let love be my metric. Let kindness be my legacy. God, I do not want to live closed off to the world's pain, but I also do not want to be consumed by it. Help me find that sacred middle ground where I remain tender without being torn apart, where I am moved by suffering but not defined by it, where I carry hope like a lifeline but never pretend I do not struggle too. Help me be authentic, not polished, present, not performative, open, not overwhelmed. So today, wherever I go, let me be a light not blinding or boastful, but grounded and generous, a light that gently pushes back darkness, that offers calm instead of criticism, that reminds people that gentleness is still powerful and peace is still possible. Let me leave traces of you in every room I enter, not through big declarations, but through how I pause, how I care, how I carry this quiet joy. Let this light not be something I try to force, but something that naturally flows from a heart anchored in your presence. Let it whisper to the tired, you are not alone. Let it remind the hopeless, there is still beauty here. Let it echo to every soul I meet, you are seen, you are valued, you are not forgotten. That is the light I want to carry, not my own, but yours shining through me in the most human of ways. Father, after asking you to help me carry light into a heavy world, I feel you gently pressing deeper into the foundation of it all, into the truth that allows me to walk with peace and give with freedom. It is your love, not the fleeting, fragile kind that wavers when things shift, but the steady, unshakable kind that never lets go, the kind that does not depend on my performance or predictability, the kind that holds me through every storm and quiet season alike. Today, I need to return to that love not as theory, but as my anchor. Lord, you know how often I move through the day with a subtle undercurrent of striving, how I reach for approval without realizing it, how I measure my value based on how well I show up, how much I produce, how few mistakes I make. You see how deeply I want to be enough, to feel secure, to know I am safe even when life shifts suddenly or people change unexpectedly. And yet, you have already offered me the one thing that makes all of that unnecessary. Love that does not change. God, remind me again that I do not have to earn what you have already given, that I do not have to chase a belonging you have already secured, that I do not have to prove a worth you declared before I ever did anything for you. I forget sometimes. I forget that you loved me in my weakest, that you called me worthy even when I felt broken, that your affection does not hinge on my mood, my consistency, or my circumstances. Let your love become more than a comfort. Let it become the place I live from. Let it be the lens I see myself through when shame tries to settle in, when doubt creeps in, when criticism echoes louder than truth. Let me return to this foundation. I am loved, I am chosen, I am known. And not one bit of that changes when life does not go as planned. Father, when change comes, whether invited or not, help me not to be uprooted. When jobs shift, relationships stretch, seasons end, or routines are disrupted, let love be my constant. Let me find stability in you, not in things staying the same. Let me hold plans loosely and hold you tightly. Let me trust that even when nothing feels familiar, I am still held by the same grace that carried me yesterday. When the future feels foggy, when decisions feel heavy, and when the road ahead is filled with unknowns, remind me that love is not something I have to search for. It is the ground I already stand on. You go before me not just with strategy, but with affection, not just with provision, but with presence, not just with answers, but with unwavering care. Lord, I bring you the parts of me that still doubt this, the inner voices that ask, am I really loved if I fail, if I disappoint, if I am slow to heal, if I am not who I used to be? I do not need rehearsed theology right now. I need encounter. I need to feel your nearness in my very real questions. I need to sense your embrace when the day feels uncertain. I need to know that you are not going anywhere. When I interact with others today, let this love reshape how I love them. Let me not offer kindness only when it is convenient. Let me not withhold forgiveness because I am still hurting. Let me not judge what I do not understand. Let me become someone who extends what I have received without agenda, without strings, without performance. Let your love soften my edges. Let it widen my perspective. Let it remind me that I am never wasting love, even when it goes unnoticed or unreturned. God, help me love myself through the lens of your heart too, not with arrogance, but with reverence. Let me treat this body with care, this mind with patience, this soul with honor. Let me stop disqualifying myself from compassion I so easily extend to others. Let me remember that I am not too much or too little. I am not behind. I am not late. I am here, held, and becoming all within your love. So today, as I move through the rhythms of ordinary moments, emails, errands, conversations, choices, I ask for one thing more than anything else. Help me to remain anchored, not in my productivity, not in the opinions of others, not in the predictability of life, but in your love. Let it hold me steady when I feel shaky. Let it call me back when I wander. Let it root me in peace when anxiety stirs. Let it be the silent strength in my words, the quiet comfort in my actions, the unshakable foundation beneath every step. Because if I am anchored in love, real love, yours, I do not have to fear the waves. I do not have to control every outcome. I do not have to brace for impact or shut down in self-protection. I can live open. I can live honest. I can live fully here. That is the kind of love I want to walk in, not just today, but every day forward. Unrushed, unforced, unmoved by the winds of the world. Rooted in something that will never be taken from me. Rooted in you. Father, having been anchored in the security of your unchanging love, I begin to feel the invitation rising within me, a quiet call to loosen my grip. Because even though I say I trust you, I often find my hands clenched tight around things I do not want to lose. I carry plans, people, expectations, and timelines like precious cargo I am afraid to set down. But you are asking me to live lighter, to release control, to stop managing every detail like the world depends on my vigilance. And so, I come to you now, not with answers, but with open hands. Lord, you know exactly what I am holding too tightly. The things I try to protect, the stories I try to write myself, the outcomes I try to guarantee. You know how I rehearse conversations in my mind, build contingency plans, and brace for disappointment just in case. There is part of me that believes if I can just work hard enough, care enough, anticipate enough, I can avoid pain or earn the result I want. But that is not faith. That is fear wearing discipline as disguise. I want something deeper. I want surrender. God, show me how to release the things that were never mine to control. Teach me the difference between stewardship and ownership, between caring and clinging, between responsibility and anxiety. Let me care deeply without gripping tightly. Let me love without possessing. Let me lead without manipulation. Let me dream without demanding a deadline. Let me do my part and then trust you with the part that is yours alone. I bring you the plans that I have written in bold ink, the timelines I have etched into my expectations, the goals that have started to feel like idols. I bring you the relationships where I have tried to be savior instead of support, the situations where I have stepped into roles I was never called to carry. I bring you the grief I have tried to manage and the uncertainty I have tried to control. And instead of strategizing my way to peace, I choose surrender. Father, remind me that surrender is not passivity, it is a posture of trust. It is not giving up, it is giving over. It is choosing to believe that you are wise where I am limited, strong where I am tired, and sovereign where I am small. It is trusting that your plan, even when mysterious, is always good, that your timing, even when delayed, is always purposeful, that your presence, even when quiet, is always near. When I feel the urge to take things back into my own hands, whisper to my soul that I am safe, that the world does not rest on my shoulders, that I am not the author, I am the beloved, that I do not have to hold it all together to be held by you. And when I feel the H of letting go, when it feels like loss instead of freedom, wrap me in the assurance that nothing surrendered to you ever disappears. It is transformed. It is redeemed. It becomes something better in your time. God, help me to let go not just once, but again and again. Because surrender is rarely a single act, it is a rhythm. A lifestyle. It is waking up each day and saying, "This is yours too." My schedule, my emotions, my success, my pain, my people, my future. Letting go is not weakness, it is the bravest thing I can do, and you honor it. You meet me in it. You work with it. Show me how to walk through this day with loose hands and a grounded heart. Let me release the outcome without releasing my effort. Let me give my best without needing to control the result. Let me rest in knowing that faithfulness is my job, fruitfulness is yours. Let me move through meetings, conversations, and unexpected interruptions with a peace that says, God is already here. Father, when things do not go the way I planned, when a door closes or a season shifts or the outcome feels like a loss, help me not to spiral. Help me remember that surrender does not mean nothing will ever feel hard. It means I want to walk through the hard alone. That your grace goes before me. That even what I did not choose can still be used. That you can take what breaks me and build something beautiful with it. When I see others receiving what I have prayed for, teach me how to celebrate without comparing, how to bless without bitterness. Let surrender free me from resentment, from entitlement, from the lie that if something is not happening for me, it never will. Remind me that you write stories differently, that what looks like a pause to me might be preparation from you, that the longer I hold on to control, the more I resist the very peace I crave. So today, I open my hands. I release the grip. I surrender the illusion. I choose to believe again that you are trustworthy, not just in theory, but in the spaces of my life where I feel most fragile. And I will keep choosing this, even when I am tempted to take it all back. I will keep practicing the art of surrender until peace becomes the loudest voice in my soul, not because everything is certain, but because I know the one who holds what I have released, and you are always enough. Father, now that I have released my grip on what I cannot control and placed it in your hands, I feel lighter, not because the world has changed overnight, because I finally allowed space for your grace to hold what I was never meant to carry alone. There is a softness that comes after surrender, a stillness that was not there before. And as I breathe in this stillness, what rises in me is not fear or regret, but gratitude. Simple, quiet, deep. A gratitude that does not wait for perfection. One that grows from presence. Lord, remind me how to live awake, not in a hurry, not in a haze, but alert to wonder. Attentive to the beauty that has always been here. The smell of morning coffee, the sound of leaves outside my window, the way sunlight stretches across the floor, the curve of a smile from someone I love, the kindness of a stranger, the fact that my heart is still beating, that breath still finds its way into my lungs, that I still have time to love. to learn, to be. None of it is small. None of it is owed. And all of it is worthy of gratitude. God, help me to stop overlooking what I have been given in the search for what I still want. Let me live today not from a place of scarcity, but from the abundance already within reach. The breath I just took, the chance to start again, the people who have not given up on me, the fact that your mercy renewed itself before I even opened my eyes this morning. These are the miracles I miss when I rush. Teach me how to linger, to really see, to allow the ordinary to remind me of the sacred. When anxiety starts whispering that I must do more, fix more, earn more, interrupt it with a gentle reminder. I am already loved. I am already held. I do not need to manufacture significance. I only need to show up. Heart open. Fully here. And when disappointment tries to convince me that gratitude is foolish, remind me that thankfulness is not denial, it is defiance. It is choosing to notice what is good even when all is not easy. It is turning my face toward light, even when shadows exist. It is saying, this moment is still worth honoring. Father, deepen my awareness today. Let me live as though every breath is a gift, as though every interaction is a chance to sow kindness, as though every pause is an invitation to worship. Let the rhythm of my day be shaped by grace received and grace returned. Let me receive without guilt. Let me give without fear. Let me speak slowly. Walk gently and listen closely, not out of performance but out of reverence. Let me carry this gratitude into how I work, not just with excellence, but with joy. Let my thankfulness show in how I write emails, wash dishes, respond to interruptions, and handle difficult people. Let gratitude be the undercurrent of how I serve and how I lead. Let it overflow into how I comfort others. Let it shape how I view challenges, not as punishments, but as places where grace is waiting to be revealed. God, when weariness sets in, remind me that gratitude is not something I must force, it is something I can return to, a breath I can take, a posture I can practice. Let me return to it in moments of tension, in moments of conflict, in silence, in sorrow. Let it be my compass, pulling me back toward perspective, pulling me back toward hope, pulling me back toward you, even in my pain. Let me find something to be thankful for, not because I enjoy the pain, but because you are still present in it, even in my confusion. Let me thank you for the clarity you will eventually bring, even in loss. Let me thank you for what once was, and the healing still to come. Let my gratitude not be conditional. Let it be courageous. Let it be rooted in truth, not trends. Let it be planted deep enough to survive any season. Father, make me a person whose first instinct is thanks, who does not wait for everything to feel perfect before choosing praise, who does not measure gratitude by what they receive, but by what they recognize, who sees beauty where others see nothing special, who makes space for others to feel seen, heard, and honored because they have watched me do the same for life itself. So today, I choose to breathe deeply, to live slowly, to notice fully, to thank freely, to bless generously. I choose to let grace be enough and let gratitude be my answer to everything I cannot change. I choose to wake up to the sacredness of now. I choose to stop waiting for later, to live a life of reverence, because now is all I am guaranteed. And this now, this breath, this moment, it is enough, it is holy, and I won't miss it. I will live it with open eyes, open hands, and a heart that quietly whispers with every breath. Thank you, Father, after walking through this long, unfolding journey, through the pain and the promise, the silence and the stillness, the questions and the quiet miracles, I come into this final stretch with no need for fanfare or finality. Just stillness. Just presence. Just this breath. You have walked with me through the valleys and the shadows. You have whispered truth when my heart felt lost. You have drawn me near not through answers, but through assurance. And now, as this time of morning communion nears its close, I do not want to say goodbye. I want to remain. Lord, everything in this world tells me to chase what is next, to move faster, to produce more, to reach higher. But I feel you saying something different, something softer. Stay close. Stay steady. Stay rooted. Let the truths you have whispered in the early hours carry into the middle of my days. Let them echo through traffic, laundry, screens, and conversation. Let them remind me that sacred moments are not just set aside, they are scattered everywhere, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be lived. God, I do not want to forget. I do not want this time to become a memory I return to only when I feel empty again. I want it to live in me, to become the rhythm that reshapes how I breathe, how I choose, how I respond. I want to carry the peace you have placed in me like a hidden flame, quiet but real. I want to remember that joy can still rise in small moments, that grace does not run out, that your nearness was never confined to this prayer, but continues through my presence in the world. So help me return to the ordinary with reverence. Let me wash dishes with worship. Let me speak with awareness. Let me hold silence with gratitude. Let me walk through each doorway today, not seeking applause, but looking for opportunities to bless. Let me speak less often to be heard, and more often to heal. Let my hands become instruments of peace. Let my eyes reflect your kindness. Let my pace reflect the trust I now carry. There will be noise again, I know. Distraction. Deadlines. Interruptions. But let the inner sanctuary we have built remain untouched. Let it be the place I return to again and again, a refuge that lives inside me now, not just in the quiet of this morning prayer. And when the demands of life make me forget, draw me back not with guilt, but with invitation. Remind me that I am never too far gone to pause, to breathe, to realign with the grace that has always waited patiently. Father, thank you for every word whispered in the dark, for every silent comfort I did not even know was you, for every shift in perspective, for every moment where I stopped striving and simply received. Thank you for being the kind of God who draws near to the weary, who listens longer than I speak, who holds me even when I have nothing profound to offer in return. This morning has not been performance. It has been presence, yours and mine. Together, and to those who have walked this prayerful journey with me, who have shown up through each chapter, in search of something deeper, I want to say from my heart, thank you. Thank you for allowing these words to touch your spirit, for showing up not to impress God, but to be with Him, for giving your soul the space to breathe again. If you have made it here, then something in you is shifting. Something in you is being renewed, even if quietly. And that matters. If you feel stirred, if something softened in you today, I invite you share it. In the comments below, leave your own prayer or your own moment of awakening. Let this not just be my voice, it can be ours, a sacred echo across time and space, a collection of hearts choosing to believe that faith is still alive, that mornings still matter, that love still wins. And if this journey has nourished you, I invite you to carry it forward. Subscribe to this channel so you do not walk alone. Share this video with someone who needs light. Keep returning here, not just to listen, but to remember who you are when everything else falls away. Keep your heart open to wonder. Keep your soul pointed toward the one who never stopped pursuing you. Keep building a life where faith is not occasional but daily, gentle, and alive. Now go into the day, into the world, into whatever comes next. Go not to perform, but to remain, to walk with the one who woke you up this morning with purpose. Let His voice echo beneath the noise. Let His presence steady your pace. Let His love be the light you follow, even when the road feels dim. And as you move forward, may it feel like a soft wind on your skin, like the hush of early light through the window, like the slow unfolding of a living stream. May you carry this moment not as an ending, but as a beginning, because this is not the final word. It is a gentle breath before you rise. And the morning, as always, is just beginning.